Shalom, shalom, brothers. Brother Kamal Mahar here, back at it again. First thing first, we want to give all praise to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, and qadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders on the truth from GMS. Blessing to the Akim Madir preaching his word with wholehearted sincerity. Blessing to the 144,000 and 1/3 entirely. The first fruits, kingdom of heaven, house of David, the BF that would die. And shalom to you brothers out there speaking in different tongues and looking in different nations. Shalom to you brothers. For today, brothers, through the spirit, man, I'm getting on Esau, man. Esau, the so-called white man, they pretty much, they going down, and mainly, and first and foremost, one of the biggest reasons is because they broke the brotherly covenant. In pursuing the Genesis 25, it goes into how Jacob and Esau was in the womb together, and they were fighting, or pretty much always was fighting or wrestling in the womb. Had trouble within the womb. And that was symbolism on how that was going to be for the into the later years as well. And Jacob, whose hand held on Esau's heel when they came out the womb, because Esau was the older brother. That particular birthright of the kingdom of heaven, the promises, blessings, spiritual bodies, everything that's the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians, who are the true biblical Israelites, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, chosen people. What they have, Esau originally was supposed to get it, but the blessing was given to Jacob, and that really pissed off Esau because he wanted it back, and he's been trying to get it back for so long. And because of that birthright, that's why Esau has been always trying to kill his brother, pursuing to Genesis 25. Like, matter of fact, let me go get that right now. And see, the thing is, though, we know this is all set up by Yahawashi, but at the end of the day, though, when you look at it from a story standpoint or the facts, Esau sold it. You can't necessarily sell something and then just be mad that you sold it and then want to destroy the person who has the item or the product or whatever it is that you sold in their hands because you sold it. It is no longer in your possession and no longer what you would call legally yours, right? But that's not how Esau was playing. Genesis 25. Let me see. Okay, you know what? Yeah, let me go back to the basis of square one. Genesis 25. Let me start at 29. And Jacob sod pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, "Feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint." Therefore was his name called Edom, which Edom goes into red. It goes into red. And Jacob said, "Sell me this day thy birthright." And Esau said, "Behold, I am I'm at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me?" So he's carnal. He's pretty much, he doesn't give his birthright no value at this point. He doesn't give a damn about it. He's pretty much worried about this food, the next meal, rather than the most important thing that can be given in the history of mankind. That's what makes Esau the worst of the worst, because he sold something so great for just a little temporary piece of food, right? And it says, and Esau said, "Behold," 32. And Esau said, "Behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me?" And Jacob said, "Swear to me this day." And he sware unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage and lentils, and he did eat and drink and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Let's look at the word "despised," because this is all tying in. But it's even, let me see, despised. Feel contempt or a deep repugnance for. Similarities would be loathe and hate. So he hated his birthright. Distaste, disgust, disdain, scorn, and loathe. And loathe is supposed to be worse than the word hate, right? So, okay. So even when you read that perspective, Esau don't deserve his birthright, especially when you actually hate it and you just gave it up for nothing. You gave it up for nothing, right? But that's cool. So now that he did that, it should be fair game for Jacob, and it is what it is. Now, granted, it was all set up for Jacob to get it, but the point is, Salakia, brothers, for a second, show some respect. Yeah. Okay, let me see this real quick. I probably could have. There we go. So like, bro, pretty much felt like I had my garment on backwards. But he despised his birthright, and so, which means he hated it, and he treated it like it had no value, which it was the greatest value of all time. Now, in 27 right here, this goes into the story that when Jacob and Esau when Esau was supposed to get the birthright, he already sold it, right? But then again, after he sold it, he still wanted to feel like he still can have it, especially when Isaac said he was going to bless him still, right? So I'm gonna get straight to the point. Let me see. Let me see. Start at I'm gonna bring it out just to bring in why the context of this video. Let me see. Okay, so let's pretty good. Let me just get to the point where let me see. And his father Isaac said unto him, "Come near." Okay, so Chapter 24. And he said, "Art thou my son Esau?" And he said, "I am." And this is Jacob, pretending to be Esau, like Rebecca has set that up in general. And it says 25. And he said, "Bring it near to me," which is the food he wanted Esau, because he thought that Jacob was Esau. So he wanted Esau to bring the food to him, which actually Esau was Jacob at the time. And he said, "Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee." And he brought it near to him. And it said, he did eat, and he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said unto him, "Come near now, and kiss me, my son." And he came near, and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, "See, the smell of my son is as the smell of the field, which Yahawah shall have blessed. Therefore, Yahawah shall give thee of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that cursed thee, and blessed be he that blessed thee." That's the kingdom of heaven. Ultimately, that's Deuteronomy 28 and all, from 1 through 15, 1 through 14, I believe. And that's all the blessings, the kingdom of heaven, and the greatest glory of all time, in a nutshell. And it says, "And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of the blessing, end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone. He was scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he also had made savory meat, brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, Let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, Who? Where is he that have taken venison and brought it to me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him, yea, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father. So now, so now, remember in Genesis 25, Esau sold his birthright. So I find it very, interesting how he still was thinking that he can get the blessing. So he bypassed the fact that he sold it, and then he still wanted to get it blessed in general. And what it say it says 34, and when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father. Now granted, when you look at this through the spirit, this was all set up in general for Jacob to have the blessing anyway, because the Lord is not going to bless Esau, which was set up through the vessel of the spirit of Satan, to even have that blessing, because the blessing was always going to go to the righteous. Jacob represents the righteous, and Esau represents the wickedness. It's just like it says right here in Hebrews. It references the exact same chapter, Hebrews 12 and 16. It says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For you know that how afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. You see that? He was rejected. So he wasn't going to get it anyway, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. Right. So just like in Genesis in 25, he with his 27, Salakia. Right here, 27 and 30 and 34, it says, and when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great Salakia, brothers. It says 34, and it said when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father. Right, so he came out with a cry. But that's crazy because he sold it already. See how Esau is, man? It's kind of like another way of going at it of how Esau really is. It says 35, and he said, thy brother came with subtlety and have taken away thy blessing. And that right there is the start of the piss off of Esau. And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob, for he have supplanted me these 2 times, which Jacob means supplanted, like kind of like a con artist or a manipulator, some of that sort. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he have taken away my blessing. And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? So the blessing and the birthright, is basically the same, but in this context is two different things. But okay, it says that 37. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I given him to him for servants, and with corn and with wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have dominion, thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And that's exactly what had happened too, and especially in the Renaissance period. And here's let me see, let me get to the point. Here's the point. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing whereof his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. And that's when it all started. And because he had a mindset like that, and his intentions was to do that, he also had came upon us in our calamity when the Lord had judged Jacob's people, the 12 tribes of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians. They did us really bad. The slave trade, the chattel slavery, what they did to our brothers on the Northern Kingdom. The Southern Kingdom came over here on slave ships. The way they treated us. The stories of the gators, of the babies, and the splitting apart by the horses. You got butt breaking, you got raping their wives. I mean, the list goes on, and still to this day, we under the captivity of Esau, our so-called twin brother. But remember, it says that that he broke the brotherly covenant. So now he's no longer a brother to us, and slavery will have to be done to him like he have done unto us. Pursuing the Revelation 13, he that leaves the captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience of the faith of the saints. I believe that's pretty much spot on. You know. What is that? Let me see. I had let me get you know what? I will get that numbers first. Numbers 35 and 33. It says, it's for me, this is now Israelite 101. It says, so ye shall not pollute the land wherein you are, for blood defileth the land. And the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. Right. Because, you know, when, well, Christopher Columbus, or however you want to call him, when he came over to America, at the time it was, I think the scriptures call it Astaroth or something like that. Gad and Reubenites was over here, and they were really nice people. They embraced Esau, and what Esau do, you know, they raped, robbed, and pillaged the whole land, killed off a lot of them, and stole the land and built their own situation, which is falsely, man. That was fucked up, you know. But remember the blessing that Isaac gave Esau was the sword, and also having the fatness of the earth thereof, and you shall live by the sword. And that's what they do. They rape, rob, and pillage everything they touch. And for that, the Lord has a recompense for Esau because of the controversy of Zion. You know, pursuing the Isaiah 34. Matter of fact, let me get that. Isaiah 34, like 7 or 8 is it says, 7, and the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks. Let me see something. I'm 6. The sword of Yahawashi is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of the lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of the rams. For Yahawashi shall have a sacrifice in Bozrah, which is talking about the Edomites, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea, which is also the land of Edomites. And the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of Yahawashi vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. And this has been going on ever since Esau had sold his birthright, and the blessing of everything went to Jacob, and that pissed him off. And ever since then, he's been right at us. He's been right at the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians. That was a lot to bring us down. And now what he got now is it's a slap in the face to Yahawashi in a way, because their goal now is to keep us more down, right? You know, and they want to chip us, so that way when Yahawashi come back, they have it in their vain mind that if you can chip the whole nation of Israel, then that'll be like a slap in the face to Yahawashi, and no one can be redeemed at that situation. Because remember, it says that taking the mark of the beast is like, that's basically no repenting for that. Like, there's no repenting taking the mark of the beast. You take the microchip, it's a wrap. Like, it's over. There's no coming back from that. So when you bow down to that system and the other beasts and their ideas to get all of us, it's like, wow, what can you save now? But the Lord said He's going to have a remnant and an elect that's not going to take that situation. So they can. Matter of fact, was that Psalms 2? Let me bring that out. Psalms 2 and 1. It says, "Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?" Right. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord Yahawashi and against His anointed, which is the elect, the nation of Israel. Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. It says, "He that sitteth in heaven shall laugh; the Lord shall have them in derision." Right. You see that? So they imagine a vain thing that's not going to come to pass. Like it says in Job 20, they shall be in straits trying to do this thing. You know what I mean? So they can imagine all they want, but it's not going to go down. It's not going to go down the way they think it's going to go down, because the Lord got them in derision. So but they're not gonna succeed. So Esau is imagining a vain thing. At the end of the day, though, Yahawashi has the last laugh for the situation, and Esau is going to have to go into chattel slavery for what they did to us, and also be destroyed after 1,000 years because they broke the brotherly covenant. Matter of fact, Amos 1, I'm going to start at 9. It says, "Thus saith Yahawashi for 3 transgressions of Tyrus, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they delivered up the whole captivity of Edom to Edom, and remember not the brotherly covenant." Right. It says, "I will send a fire on the wall of Tyrus, which shall devour the palaces thereof." And talk about them ICBM missiles. "And thus saith Yahawashi for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever." Right. "But I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the palaces of Bozrah." Right. You see that? They broke the brotherly covenant, man. And the Lord also said in Isaiah 34, where it says it's the day of the Lord, for the day of the Lord, the vengeance for the recompenses of if I bring it out, some slaughter in there a little bit. I don't want to do that. Isaiah 34 and 8. No, Shalaki 34. It says, "For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion." Right. Because we've been done dirty the worst by Esau, man. And there's a perpetual hatred with them, pursuing to Ezekiel. Man, let me get that as well. Ezekiel 35. And it's all started from that damn birthright and that blessing, man. And once we got that, they went hard body. This is I'm gonna end off with Ezekiel 35. It's Ezekiel 35 started 1, and I'm gonna end off at probably 7 for the most part. It says, "Moreover, the word of Yahawashi came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord Yahawashi, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahawashi, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahawashi, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. I will fill his mountains with the slain men, in thy hills, and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall tell they fall that the slain with the sword. So like it says, shall they fall that are slain with the sword, and I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy city shall not return, and ye shall know that I am Yahawashi. Right. You see that? So y'all Esau, man, and you done fucked up, man. You didn't touch the Lord's apple of his eye, man. The children of Israel, man. You know what I mean? Like that's a bad situation that you didn't really fucked up, and the Lord gonna have a recompense for the controversy of Zion, man. You broke that brotherly covenant, so hey, you got to get that smoke. So Abarakazal, Lord willing, just edifying to you, brothers. I want to give all praise to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, qadash. Yahawah, he is to be, exists, Bahasham in the name, and the only begotten Son, the Lord and Savior, Yahawashi, Bahasham in the name, and the Holy Spirit of qadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, learning the truth from GMS. Blessing to the Akim out there preaching his word, whole our true sincerity. Blessing to the 144,000 1/3 entirely, the first fruits kingdom of heaven, the house of David, WF, Dawadah, and shalom to you brothers out there speaking different tongues and looking different nations. Shalom to you.